In this video we're going to look at how to do section I and J risks and legal checks. The app has been set up in a way where in principle you shouldn't need to remember what risks and legal checks you want. By selecting the right phrases when you're building up the report within general details section D, E, F and G and H, you will generate the relevant section I and J phrases at the end of the report, which can be seen within the review section. But there are a few things you need to be aware of. Let's say for instance look at section D and go to local environment. We can flag up things about flood risks, radon and even planning issues. Now with planning issues you can see here the property may be listed or has been listed, maybe in a conservation area. So if I click on that you can see that the phrase that's going to be generated is going to read, "We believe the property may be in a conservation area." And then the remainder of the phrase is shown here, "and a number of planning restrictions may therefore be in force. Your legal advisor should make further inquiries about this, and we refer you to our comments in section I." And this is what I need to point out to you. The phrase that's generated says our comments in section I. Because it's referred to section I, you can be rest assured that the iPad will generate the relevant phrase at the end of the report. If, however, the phrase that was generated said, "We believe the property may be in a conservation area and there may be a number of planning restrictions in force," and that was it, then there's no reference to section I. So even though we know that this is an issue which will warrant having a section I phrase, if it didn't mention section I in the phrases were generated, then it wouldn't be generating the relevant phrase. So you would then need to go into advisories, whereby you can either add your own phrase manually using ABC or use the risk button. This is of particular interest if we look at shrinkable soils, because we can say here the property is located in an area of shrinkable soil and we refer you to a comment later in this report. But you'll notice that in this case it hasn't said see section I or J. So if you insert that phrase you'll need to click on the advisory button, look at risks. This is a risk to the grounds or to building, and you can select the relevant phrase presence of shrinkable soil. And you commit that, and then you'll get the this is a risk to the building and the grounds. We refer you to section section J, my mistake, sorry. And because we've now got that reference there, we can be assured that the section J phrase will be generated. It's a similar situation with sections E, F and G. If you go into the advisories, you'll generally have the risk button here, and you'll need to use the risk button to generate the section J phrases. The consequences button is useful, but if I click on "this could lead to damp," you'll see the phrase generated does not make reference to section J. But if I click on risk, this is a risk to the building, damp within stack, this is a risk to the building, and we can refer you to the comments in section J. We can see that reference is there, and we then know that the section J phrase will be generated. So really what you want to be doing is including a consequence. This could lead to damp. This is a risk to the building. We refer you to our comments in section J as one particular sentence. With the section I phrases, these are generally dealt with under advice and warnings. So again you can see the phrase that will be generated here is going to have reference to section I, which is fine. That one won't. In fact most of these are not going to, but if I go into a different section, like for instance Windows, this is going to have some. Advice and warning, building regulations, again section I reference there. Or perhaps roof advisories again, advice and warnings, legal advisor checks, various options for us. And we can insert those. Now the only place that you'll be able to see your section I and J paragraphs is either if you submit the case and get a PDF back, or within the review section. Section I and J are completely editable within this section. You can type whatever you want in there. You can use the ABC button to add your own phrases. It's fairly straightforward, but there will be occasions where, as with this one for roof covering, the phrase hasn't properly generated and this is an error with the system. In those cases you will need to manually amend the section J reference to be corrected. You should leave amending sections I and J till last. The reason for this is that if you click refresh on the entire document, or even just refresh it in one of the windows individually, it will regenerate all of the phrases in section I and J, and the reason for this is to ensure that all the references are pulled through from the relevant sections. Obviously we don't want to miss out an important risk or legal check by not refreshing this section. That's why ETech have set it up that way. But the risk there is that if you are very keen and you make your amendments to this section first, and then later you go back into, say, section G7 and add something here and click refresh, it's going to refresh these sections and delete any manual changes that you've made to section I and J under the review. And therefore it is vital that this is left till last. Once you're happy with the changes you've made, you can upload the case in the normal way, check the PDF is correct, and if you're happy then the report is essentially ready to be signed off. Thank you, end of video.